If you asked any student 10 years ago where the University Museum was, they'd look at you with blank stares, not knowing, first of all, that we had a museum, what was in it, and secondly, what it does. This is an important resource, not just for the university campus, but also for the state as a whole. The Montana Museum of Art and Culture is the state's largest, oldest, and deepest collection of art. We've been around since the 1890s, so over 130 years. It represents the state's holdings in art. It's always been affiliated with the University of Montana. It's a remarkable collection. It has thousands of objects, and it's a collection that's comprehensive. It's the only global collection of art in the state of Montana. And yet the sad thing about that is that it's never had a permanent home. For over 130 years, this museum has moved from building to building across the campus, and more importantly, it's been stored in all kinds of spaces. So we're talking attics and basements all over the campus, and there's even stories that at one time the paintings were stored in the steam tunnels underneath the university campus. Without a home, without a permanent location, the institution really hasn't had much of an identity. So this building, this new home for it, is really what's given us a sense of presence in the community, a sense that yes, this collection finally has a home, finally has a place where we can do that collection justice, and we can educate and reflect and enjoy that art for time to come.
The museum design is intended to be a work of art unto itself, both on the interior and the exterior. Our design solution involved a very sculptural form. Certainly a challenge with that was, of course, designing the building to stand up, to keep the weather out, and to keep the pieces inside safe and secure. Our team looked at several locations around the University of Montana campus before it actually landed in this location on the north end of campus. This building is located here on an important pedestrian access on campus. Students cross back and forth. They cross over the footbridge that's over the Clark Fork River, and they use this path then to walk towards the center of campus.
The first design involved having basically a series of blocks. There was a block on the ground floor that ran north-south, a block that ran east-west, and then there was another block on the second floor running east-west. We had one very interesting critique from our lead donor. He just basically said, "It's very boxy. I don't really like boxes." And that's when we began to play with curves. We began to play with the idea that we're not just simply stacking boxes in a kind of conventional way. And so these subtle curves that you see on the second floor and predominantly in our galleries actually make for a much more interesting experience. It announces that there are, in fact, works of art here because the building itself is artistic. Controlling light is key for any institution. Light is obviously important because it's going to dictate the way that you experience the art. There's a third consideration, and that is to make sure that the visitor always knows where they are in the building. So having plenty of natural light in the building was a concern as well.
Sustainability was an important driver in the design of this building. Thermal efficiency was critical, and utilizing the longboard material as our exterior facade material ended up being a great solution and brought us a very high-performing building.
Early design thoughts were that it could be some type of wood. As the design evolved, we worked with the university and of course their facilities department that needs to maintain this, and decided that these products, the longboard products, would be ultimately the best solution for this building. Lincoln lock battens are a very distinctive aspect of the design of the museum envelope. It incorporates the longboard Lincoln lock battens and attaches those to the longboard tongue and groove cladding. And we worked with the longboard company to design that attachment and really create that deep textural concept that changes with the light during the day And we've used the Lincoln lock over the top of some of the windows to provide shading and interest on the interior. It proved to be a versatile tool for us.
This collection and this museum, this institution, really represents a global, comprehensive look at the arts. So we have a collection unlike anything in the state or even in the inland Northwest. We have works of art from Africa, ancient Roman and Greek things, all the way to contemporary art. So I like to say from Rembrandt to Andy Warhol. And yet this collection, never having had a home, has never been able to be not only seen, but utilized as a research institution. So given that we have such incredible richness in terms of our holdings, it's really important that we also have a home for it.
In the end, this project, this solution, gives us a contemporary art museum that serves the University of Montana and the community of Missoula. It's celebrating the history of Montana and creativity of Montanans.
My hope for this museum is that it continues to, in fact, step into that role of being that museum that can open entire worlds through its collections.